Okay, welcome back. Thank you very much, and I'm very excited to be able to introduce this next presenter, who has a very interesting and increasingly relevant topic. Edna Johnson is a cybersecurity analyst and engineer, the past president of the WGU Cyber Club. Tony, can you bring up the other info card, please? The corrected one. I did this particular one a little too late at night last night and had a couple typos, so I want to make sure that we fix that. Thank you, Tony. The cybersecurity analyst and engineer, past president of the WGU Cyber Club, co-author of Infosec Survival Guide 2nd edition, which is phenomenal. You have to check it out, and runs the Career Village at BSides Orlando. Edna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. All right, so let me get this up. All right, are you able to see my slides now?
Yes.
We do see you.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to be talking about digital privacy and intimate image abuse. Thank you for the phenomenal presentation. My name is Edna Johnson. I use they, them pronouns. I am so honored to be here because I'm a survivor of domestic violence myself, so this conference means a lot to me. In my professional role, I am a cybersecurity engineer, and I'm currently a master's degree student, working on getting my degree in cybersecurity and information assurance. I enjoy competing in OSINT Capture the Flags competitions, and on the personal level, I tend to advise friends on digital safety, and this kind of how this presentation ended up coming about was people coming to me because they were having issues in their personal lives. I do want to give a content warning about my presentation. Some of the topics that I'm going to be talking about include stalking, catfishing, intimate image abuse, which you may know as revenge porn, sex work, as well as sextortion. I gave a this is a presentation similar to the one that I gave at DEF CON, at this past DEF CON. All right, so I'm going to start with an introduction just to make sure everybody has the same base level knowledge. If you have done training at your company or at work, you may have some of this information, but I just want to make sure that everybody gets the same base level to start out with. So digital privacy, it refers to the protection of private citizens' online information. And it can be companies collecting information on users who are visiting websites. And it can also be people who are sharing information with others on social media sites. This could be on Facebook or Twitter, things like that, information you're sharing about your life. And so our activities together, those activities leave a digital footprint. And that is information that can be used to help identify us. So for example, companies might collect what kind of browser you're using. So if you're using Firefox or Chrome, that could be part of your digital footprint. Personal identifiable information, or PII, that's information that's connected to a specific individual. They can be used to uncover that individual's identity, such as their social security number, full name, email address, and phone number. And then account security basics. When you're creating accounts online, you always have to put an email and a password. So for your passwords, try to make strong passwords. You can do that by using passphrases. So combine several words to make a longer password by having several words together. Try to aim for 12 or more characters in your password and use multi-character types. That could be numbers, special characters, upper and lowercase letters. And then use a password manager. Some examples of that are Bitwarden, KeePass, and 1Password. Some people use the Notes app in their phone to save their passwords. If you're doing that, I just want to make sure that you know that that information is not encrypted. And if you're in a domestic violence situation, those are you have to consider your own threat model or what you're worried about. And so if you're worried about the people that are close to you, they might get access to your phone and find the password list in your Notes app. And then if you have a physical password manager, that's the same thing. So if you have a password book, that is something that if you're worried about your spouse or partner getting access to that, that they could get access to all of your accounts. So password managers are better because you have one master password that you remember to get access to all of the passwords for accounts that you have. It also helps to have multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. So that's something in addition to your password. The most basic one is SMS or text messages. So when you log in, you get a text message. Okay, here's a code that you enter in. There's also applications that you can add on your phone. So you could have Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, and there's some other ones as well. And that creates a new code every 60 seconds. And so you would open up your phone, open up the Authenticator app, and then put in the code that you see in there. There's also a physical token like YubiKey, where you plug that into your computer or your phone, and then you press your finger on it, and that puts in a code for the multi-factor authentication. And you could actually, so two-factor is using two, but multi-factor is using multiple. So you could have both an authenticator code and a YubiKey, for example, to make it even stronger. So when you have accounts, you may have had them for a while. There is a possibility that they get their information breached in a they may have had an attack and their data may have been put on the dark web. There's a website called Have I Been Pwned where you can check if that email address is in the breach. And so you'll go to the website Have I Been Pwned, enter in your email address, and click the button, and it will show you if you get green, it means that they don't have any in their data sets that they know of. But if it shows like you get a red screen and it has a list of all of the different ones, you need to go through those and make sure to update those passwords and make sure that you're changing all of the accounts that have that same password. So if you have reused your password, you can change those to update so that somebody won't be able to find your email account and password and get access to your accounts. All right, so security hygiene. Make sure if you're on any spicy sites like OnlyFans or anything like that, keep your personal information off of those sites. I'm sorry, I'm seeing that there's a chat going. Yes, YubiKeys are your friend. And then don't forget your FIDO code. Yep. And then have I been pwned? It will continue to notify you after you've been registered too. Yes. Yes, so that's a good thing to do. All right, so for your security hygiene, keep your personal information off of your spicy website. So don't put like where you work, for example. You want to limit the information that you're sharing. So try to be mindful if you're taking pictures and they're outside, be mindful of like landmark and things that can be found in the background. If you're trying to lay low and not have people find you on different sites, because it's when you have a picture, it's very easy to find things that are unique and then can be used to identify you later. And use a separate email address for activities. So if you're on any spicy websites, I recommend that you have a specific email address for that. Because if somebody does find your email address and tries to get access to your email account, that could compromise like your banking information or other things, um, financial information, stuff like that. Um, and then you can also have multiple separate emails as needed. Just evaluate what's best for you. And email accounts are free nowadays. You can get a Gmail or whatever. There's also websites that if you just need a account for just a one-time thing, you can create a throwaway email account. Chris, the chat is fine. I don't mind. I will check periodically. Um, okay, it's fine. I don't mind the chat. Um, so OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence, and that is where people are searching for and analyzing information that is publicly available that is meant to produce actionable intelligence. So that is going to be public records, images and videos. Images are fantastic for OSINT, for those that are looking for OSINT, because you can find so much in them. There can be information on websites. Social media platforms are rich with OSINT information. You can also even use news media and libraries. All right, so now getting into intimate image abuse. So what that means is that is the distribution of sexually graphic images of individuals without their consent. So they did not consent to their images being shared. So this includes images originally obtained without consent, as well as images originally obtained with consent, usually within the context of a private or confidential relationship. So if somebody takes a picture of you, or you take a picture with consent, or if your partner, for example, takes a picture of you while you're sleeping or something, doesn't matter. If they shared it without your consent, it is abuse. Um, So how you might know that something is going on is you might have a feeling that something is off. And that could be in the manner of you're getting an influx of friends on Facebook or a lot of new followers. You're getting so many messages in your inbox that is just overflowing. So the first thing that you need to do when that happens is to do OSINT on yourself. And you need to do some online hygiene to check up because you have to know what is out there before you can clean it up. And the reason why you would get like an influx of friends or followers is because when the information is shared, those images are shared, they are often included with that are who that person is. So they will have your name and possibly like more information like your Twitter account or your Facebook account will be linked to those images. And that's why you get so many people contacting you. So Caitlin Bowden, who was a speaker here yesterday, she had she started the Badass Army, or was part of the founding of the Badass Army, which helped with combating intimate image abuse. And with her story, she had been in a relationship, and her ex-boyfriend had pictures of her on his phone. And he did not have a passcode on his device. So one of his friends got access to his device and took the pictures off of his device and then shared her pictures online. So two things that she really wants to be known from that story is that offline access is only as secure as the device that it is on. So make sure that if your pictures are on a device that device is secured. And also, these are special pictures, and so conversations about them matter. So if you're taking pictures with your partner, make sure to talk with them what you would like to happen with those pictures. So those pictures had set up the expectations of, where are they allowed to store those pictures? Are they allowed to keep it on their phone? Phones nowadays a lot of them have a secret folder that you can use that they don't show up in like your online backups and stuff like that when things get backed up to the cloud. They're just on the device and they have an extra, you have to add another PIN code to get to those. So they have an extra step to be able to look at those pictures. Are they allowed to store it on their computers? Anything else? Do you give them permission to show it to anybody else? And they allowed to share it with anyone else? So like have those conversations ahead of time so people know that you do not want that or you are okay with that. And then do you have a point in time that you would expect those pictures to be deleted, such as when you break up? So make sure you're having those conversations. There's even contracts that you can set up with, agreement to how you want your pictures to be so that you have that in writing. So if you're sharing the images online or with somebody, make sure you watermark them. You can watermark them with where they are shared. So OnlyFans or Discord or anything like that. If you're sharing it with a person, you can watermark them with the handle of the person that you're sharing it with. So here I have an example at Too Hot to Handle. Make sure to remove any EXIF data from the image. So when you take pictures, your device will store some data about that. It will store data about the device that it was taken on. So cameras will include information. Phones will include information. So you could be telling people what kind of phone that you have. They include GPS information. So you can strip that all from the image beforehand. And if you create a lot of pictures that you're sharing, you can create an inventory list of the pictures so that if any of them get leaked in the future, you will know like the information that you want to remember about the picture, like when it was taken, who it was shared with, and anything important like that. And then when you're watermarking an image, you can make the watermarks tiny, teeny tiny, because you don't need it to be splashed. The photo studios will put it like all the way across and very large, and you can't miss the watermark because they want to make sure that you don't use the picture in any other places. But with this watermark, you could put it like in dark spaces. So just like under the curve here or any dark spaces so that it's not very visible. But if you need to identify later on where did the leak happen, and you get a copy of that image, you can zoom in and find the watermark to be able to tell where the leak happened. So if you have had images that are have been released, Stop NCII or Stop Non-Consensual Intimate Image Abuse has a website where you can create a case. So you take all of the pictures that you have had leaked out there, and they create a hash of those images. It's like a digital picture hash. And then they submit that hash of each image to like Facebook and Twitter, and it goes to Pornhub and a bunch of other websites. They list on their site what websites it goes to, but they have an agreement with those websites that they're not going to keep non-consensual intimate images on those sites. So when they get those requests to take the images down, those sites will. There's also, if your information has been leaked and you want to remove it from the Google search results, Google has a way to remove explicit images or intimate images from Google, and you can request that removal, and they will remove the image as well as if there was any information related to that from the Google search result. And then if your image is on a website that it does not do all of that, you can also use the DMCA. This is using copyright to remove your image. So you're saying, this is my image that I created, and the person that shared it does not have my permission to share that image. So DMCA can be used to remove images, and you can use the dmca.com website to submit takedown requests to get those images removed. So AI is becoming a huge thing lately, and so images are being used of people who did not, they created regular clothed pictures, put them on Facebook or LinkedIn or something, not intending to be used in any manner of creating anything from that. But now people are using AI tools to create nude pictures from clothed people. So back in April of last year, there were several apps advertising on Instagram. So it's not even on the dark web. They are not hiding. They were advertising on Instagram primarily to target teenage boys, to take any picture you want and undress them, or you can face swap a person's picture onto a nude picture. So these images are being created, and these advertisements were taken down from Instagram, but there are still the apps that can do that. So you can still use some of the DMCA and things like that to try to take those down. But there is a law or an act that's being currently passed through, it passed the Senate, it's now in the House, and that's the Defiance Act. And that's going to make it so that you can sue people in civil court for the deepfake intimate image abuse. Some states have made it a criminal act to make deepfake intimate images. So it's going to depend on what state you're in. But the laws are catching up with the technology. Of course, technology moves very fast, and the laws take a while to catch up with that. So for intimate image abuse or non-consensual intimate image abuse, there are laws in almost all of the states. There's 2 states and a few territories that don't have laws against non-consensual intimate image abuse. It's South Carolina and Massachusetts and a few of the territories. And then for sextortion, there is a lot of states that still have yet to pass the laws to make sextortion illegal. But then when you come to deepfakes, only a few states have passed laws making that illegal. So they all have different state laws regarding that. So how it is depends on the state that you're in. But hopefully, at least there will be a federal law for the civil, which will make that you have to have that if you're found guilty of it, you'll have to pay a fine. And if you're in one of the states that does not have this law, hopefully you can reach out to your senators and let them know that this is something that you would like to pass in your state. All right, so OnlyFans. On OnlyFans, you're sharing a lot of images. And so what the Red Project in UK says, unwanted contact, abusive messages, stalking, and threats of outing are the most frequently reported crimes for online sex workers. So some of the tips that I have for OnlyFans creators, when setting up an account, set up a monthly charge. It can be just a minimal amount, but just set up something so that it's not just free, and it gives you, um, it gets to the people that actually want to see your content, and when you don't make it free, you're going to get better quality of subscribers. Use a fake name. Don't use your real name. A fake name will help protect your identity. And do not tie your OnlyFans account to your social media. It can be very tempting if you have an established Twitter base or TikTok or whatever you're using to gain, followers, to use that and tie it to your OnlyFans. But go ahead and start a new one. I know that you can create great content and start from scratch, because that's going to help to separate your personal life from the OnlyFans persona life. And then fake your publicly available location. So if you're putting the location you're at, you're going to be much easier to be stalked. So put something where you're not. All right, so oh, Shannon, too little, too late. I'm sorry. I don't know which one you're referring to. Um, okay. So OnlyFans setting. So once you've got your account created, to lower your risk for revenge porn or non-consensual intimate image abuse, you can regionally block your state so that you don't get followers from the state that you're in. You can watermark your photos. So we talked about how to put watermark in creases and in the dark spots so that you can put OnlyFans, or if you're sending it to somebody, you can put their name or handle on that. OnlyFans has an easy block, which that means that it will delete the content that they've downloaded. And then if there is a leak from your OnlyFans platform, OnlyFans has it so that they own your content. So now OnlyFans will send their lawyers to send the DMCA notice. So you don't have to handle that. On your OnlyFans account, enable two-factor authentication. If you don't enable it, when you're breached, the person who takes over your account will enable it, locking you out of your own account. OnlyFans does have a process for getting access to your account if this situation does happen to you, but it's just best to not have that happen in the first place, because not only will they have access to your content, but they will also be able to like subscribe to other people and rack up charges. So it's best to have the two-factor authentication turned on from the beginning. All right, so stalking. Stalking is a pattern of repeated and unwanted attention, harassment, contact, or any other course of conduct directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to feel fear. If you've seen the movie Baby Deer, I think they did a good job in that movie to showcase how stalking starts and progresses over time and how isolating it can make someone feel. So if you're a victim of stalking, lock down your accounts to private settings. So the stalker might be constantly looking at your photos on Facebook, and they have a repeating loop in their head thinking about you. So you want to try to stop their access to you and being able to continue to think about you. So lock down your accounts, keep all your photos private. On your phone, you can block unknown calls on your phone. You go into your phone settings, and that is a setting that you can set on your phone. A caveat about that, if you do file a police report, um, sorry, the name of the movie is Baby Reindeer. Okay, so the caveat about blocking unknown calls, if you file a police report or you have to talk with the police in some manner, you're expecting their phone call, they always call from an unknown number. So if you're in that situation, like for that time period, allow unknown calls and then go ahead and block it again once you're done with that time period where you're dealing with the police. Um, do not respond to anyone that you don't know. Stalkers will sometimes have friends or family members try to reach out to you because you're not responding to them. They try to send to somebody else. Disable geolocation settings. So on your phone, make sure you have that disabled. Sometimes stalkers will install like nanny cam system or nanny systems on your phone. And so you want to make sure you don't have geolocation settings on. Also, if you think that you have those programs that are monitoring your phone, it's time to get a new phone. Um, that can be what people can install on your phones can be really hard to detect. So get a new phone. Don't take the phone with you that has that, or don't use it that has those nanny systems on them. Change passwords and set up MFA on all accounts. So if there's any accounts that you're really worried about, go ahead and change the passwords. It is free. You are allowed to do that anytime. So go ahead and change it. Check for air tags. So there are the little iPhone air tags that you can have. iPhones detect it easily. Android now, I think, has a native app to check for air tags, but if not, there are Android's app that do exist for this. And I have that on my phone. So I once had my friend that had his AirTag got like unpaired with his phone, so it started telling me that somebody was stalking me. It was just an AirTag in his backpack. It does work. And then I recommend talking with friends or a therapist or somebody because it's a very stressful situation and having support is vital. All right. Chris, am I doing okay with time?
Yeah, you are fine. We're into what would traditionally be lunch break, but
Yeah.
people are free to stay or start munching at their desks and not on camera.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm not going over into somebody else's presentation. All right. So catfishing, that's when somebody is pretending on social media to be somebody different, and that can be in order to trick or attract other people. Online scammers and catfish usually have broad profile of interest so that they can appeal to as many people as possible. I know personally, I see a lot of profiles on like Facebook pretending to be like ex-Navy or a doctor at a foreign country that, it's like, oh, you want that doctor to be your, partner or whatever. They try to be wooing you in and try to get you interested in them. And once they get you talking and you're getting more comfortable with them, then they want you to send them money or something like that. So that is, don't send them money. So how you can detect if somebody is a catfish is you can reverse image search users' pictures. So you can use that with like Bing Images or my phone now. If I press like the bottom of the screen, it will give me like an area I can draw around. I can draw around somebody's picture, and then it will do an image search for that picture. So phones have gotten easier about doing reverse image searches. See if that comes up as other profiles or another person. Sometimes they catfish profiles will have like a minor celebrity person. So it's a very attractive looking person, but maybe not somebody that you've seen on movies or in TV or something. Um, there's also canary tokens or Grabify that you can use to send to them so that if they say, oh, I'm over here in the UK, and you send them the canary token and it comes back there in India, you know that they might not be telling you the right story, that they're somewhere else than they said they were. You can also verify identity early on. So ask to do a video call. Um, because of AI, um, they can use AI on videos now. So what you can ask them to do is to pan around the room because they will have like a filter on. And if they start moving around, it breaks that filter and then you'll see that it's not who they were. Um, You can also ask them to make a photo with a specific pose or a sign. So like, hey, send me a picture where you're holding up a peace sign. So if they have like a large stash of pictures of somebody else, they might not have that specific pose. Or if you ask them to put up a sign like, hey, I'm, name, um, they might not have that in their stash of pictures to send because they don't, that person isn't them. And also take things slow with online relationships and never send money to someone you've never met. All right, sextortion. This is a form of blackmail that someone is threatening to share a nude or sexual image of you or a video unless you give in to their demands. This is illegal in most states, and if you send money to a scammer once, they will not leave you alone. Um, So there's like pig butchering scams. It's called pig butchering because they keep going and bleeding you out until there's no more. Um, Sextortion tips. So do not give in to the demands of the person that's um, asking you for it. End all contact with the extorter immediately. Um, Turn off your social media and LinkedIn accounts if you can. So they may be trying to use like your online connections and things like that. So if you have LinkedIn, they can be like, I'm going to contact your coworkers and your manager, and I found them because of LinkedIn. If you turn off LinkedIn, they won't be able to do that. Um, Serve the blackmailer a cease and desist and file a police report against the extorter. Um, all right, some resources. I know Shannon is here, but oh, sorry. First, Safe Escape. Safe Escape is putting on this conference, and they're amazing. Um, Shannon has Locked Down Your Life. Hi, Shannon. Love you too. Um, she's amazing. So if you need help, reach out to her. And Michelle has created this dashboard. It is free. It's the Operation Privacy Dashboard. This is great if you're facing like sextortion or stalking or any of those things. This helps you. It's like a checklist. You go through, it has levels. So you start out like freezing your credit and doing the basic things, and then you go further and further. And if you finish the first two levels, like that they mentioned here, the extreme level or ghost is only $9 a year. And you get to do all of the free things before getting to this one. It is a really good platform. I highly recommend it. And it helps you go through all of the online stuff to get to become a ghost, basically. All right. And if you're dealing with all of this, I want to remind you about 988. The number is 988. You can call or text it. The website is 988lifeline.org. And just, it is so important to talk to people when going through something like this. Special thanks to Caitlin Bowden for allowing me to share her story. And here are how to contact me. You can reach me by email. I am on Twitter still, but I am going to be moving to Blue Sky, so I'm including my Blue Sky information here. The current platform on Twitter is becoming very hard. So Blue Sky it is. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it, and I hope that you all got something from this presentation.